You are now tuned in to DameSmiff.
Good morning and welcome to episode 6 of Musician Talks with DameSmiff. And today I want to talk to you guys about collaborating as an artist, and how this can help you in your musical career or your artistic career if you're not into music. And first I want to start off explaining what exactly collaboration looks like in the music industry. And it looks different to different people depending on your position in the music industry. So let's say if you're an artist yourself, or musician or creator, what that can look like is obviously playing with other musicians or creating music with one another. But I want to explore the not so obvious ways you can collaborate with other artists. And one of the first ways that's, I would say, between obvious and not so obvious is just general support of another artist, wearing their merch, playing their music, or supporting their events and things like that. That's a good way to start. And what that'll do is that'll help build a relationship with that artist. At least they'll notice you notice them, in a sense. And some artists, they'll look at it as kind of a help me help you kind of situation. But if you look at it that way, you kind of hinder who you'll support, at least publicly. Because I'll give you an example of myself. Like, I listen to various genres of music, but the stuff that I would share online isn't typically the stuff that I'm just like, I don't share everything I listen to. I share the stuff I like. Now, there's people who do that, and then on the other end, there's people who share stuff that they think is the newest or best thing out. Not necessarily that they like it, but just to kind of keep, the hottest, trends and things like that in front of you. And why I think that can hinder an artist, because you will lose out on having the option of more opportunities versus, focusing on what's hot. Because what's hot is already hot and probably has been hot before you found it. But to be on the train of something that's starting or growing is way more beneficial down the line. And this is when you start to look at least as a business, your music career as an investment. And when you look at your own career as an investment, you can kind of see where other artists view their businesses or their careers as investments as well. So when we talk about collaboration, what does that really look like? As far as something that's, I guess, something that you can tangibly connect that to with other artists. Well, the first way, which is again the obvious way, is to create more products with one another, to create more music or artwork with one another. But to go beyond that, the better investment would be to create the product, but then to kind of take it as your own, treat it as your own, but have stipulations and boundaries on what is in your control. But at the end of the day, supporting and pushing another artist's artwork or creation can help tenfold for another artist, and in turn, when they help you, will help you as well. But you shouldn't go into supporting other artists like that. You should look at it first. Do you personally enjoy what they're doing? Is it beneficial to you? And then you can look into how you can support this and make it, what it is. Not necessarily try to take control of anything, but support it. If an artist, is gearing up to do a tour or something like that, if you're an artist yourself and you have a close enough relationship, you can look into maybe donating to helping ease the financial burden on their team. Maybe put actual, labor in, have work for them, volunteer and things like that. If you have a little more non-tangible resources, like maybe a fan base or things like that, you can, just let your fan base know what's going on with the artists that you enjoy, or simply become a part of it, part of what they're doing, so that what your fan base will see you joining will be of interest to them as well, thus helping the artist you're helping. And it's a win-win game when you look at it that way, because as long as the people you're supporting are successful, you in turn will have a bit of that success yourself. And it's not anything like you're not going to get more money or fans or clicks doing it that way, but you'll definitely have a better outlook on your musical career or your artistic career that way. And it develops a community, kind of a unity between artists and creators like that. And to go back to a previous episode where I talked about how having artists in your network can be beneficial, for those of you who aren't musical or, artistic and things like that, supporting and collaborating is still a form, a way that is still a way that you can get your foot in the music industry. So for example, you may have a business and it has nothing to do with music, but you can find ways to implement music into your business. Like you may need advertisements, promotions, and things like that. You may need background music for your brick and mortar, and you can, literally license it out with directly with this artist or whatever. Another way you can have is the artist can use their presence, notoriety, or celebrity to, bring attraction to what you have going on. And the way you can attract that incentive for an artist is to provide them, something, like I said previously, invest in them, and then you can invest in one another, once you build that relationship with one another. And I also want to talk about how you can get something like that started realistically, and how to make it part of your networking process that can, ease the load on a lot of the things you're trying to do as a creative. So first of way I want to talk about is how you can get started doing that. And it's simple. Just simply, like I said, find out what you enjoy in an artist or their business that they're doing, and support. Like, try to do as much as you can within your reasonable, abilities. So for example, if they have merch, buying some merch is definitely cool, but showing people that you've bought the merch, spreading the word and things like that is awesome, because that, shows that you're attracted to what they're doing, and in turn, which should get more people excited about what the artist is doing. And try not to be so self-centered about it. Try to feel that you want to express your appreciation for the artist, and not express that you're doing something for an artist so that you can get appreciation from the artist to you, if that makes sense. Like, you don't want to buy merch and then have people thinking you're buying merch for the sole purpose that you just want them to, buy this person's artwork or album. You want it to seem like you genuinely enjoy what you just purchased and experienced with this artist. And people can tell when you're being genuine, and those who can't are hard to come by when we're dealing with putting our money on a product and things like that. As far as artwork is, because it's not like an average product where it's just like, a necessity where you're going to put money on it no matter what. People typically are thinking about what they're purchasing, and so who is promoting the product and spreading awareness, or just, telling them about it, is very important to some consumers. And so doing something like that can be easy, and staying a part of the conversations that this artist or whoever you're collaborating with is about is a good way to support them as well, especially if you have something positive to bring to that conversation. So if like, to keep it in a hip hop sense, like if an artist is being critiqued, or just people noticed like a cool line or lyric in their song or whatever, talking about that point and current event about that artist and how you support, or maybe have some, something positive to bring to the table in that conversation, can help people maintain visual awareness of this person, and just know, again, more information about this artist that maybe they wouldn't have gotten from their own perspective, because they're not as invested as you are into that artist. So that can be an awesome way to collaborate with artists outside of thinking I have to, do a deal or sign a contract with them just to talk and be close to them, because understanding that the music industry is about people first, it helps you understand that it's a lot easier to communicate with one another than it's thought out to be. Because to think that your favorite artist is a comment or a like away from seeing what you have to say means that you have the ability and opportunity to really tap into what's out there in the music industry. But jumping on opportunities like that are so far and few in between because people don't view them as investments into an artist. They just view it as something like, I just want to be noticed, or I just want to be seen, and things like that, versus actually tangibly investing into an artist and their career. And the other thing about this that I've noticed, I'll give you an observation. Many people explain that being an artist is about mostly sales. Like, you're like in the music industry, you're selling records. So being in sales is a good part of, well, it'll be a beneficial skill to have, having sales skills and things like that. But being personable is, I think, gonna be the difference between a long career and a successful career. Because a long career can not necessarily be a successful one if every time people bring up your name, it's something negative or indifferent. You see what I'm saying? So having those connections that are intangible with other artists and things like that, like, you may, instead of, if you can't make it to a show or things like that, you might have bought tickets for some people that you know will be in town to help support the numbers in that show and things like that. Like, stuff like that you can do for artists just without, them asking for it, and that would be appreciated so much more than just saying, I bought your CD one time, or I reposted your thing. So it's finding where you can tangibly invest in other artists, and that is, to me, what I would call essentially a successful and beneficial, positive collaboration between artists. And so that's episode 6 of Musician Talks with DameSmiff. And again, I want you to like, follow, subscribe, share, show everybody. And we're going to continue to keep this going. And again, it's every day, 9 a.m. on Facebook Live. And I'll be chopping up and editing these videos and then uploading them to YouTube for later. So if you missed any episodes, you'll find them on YouTube. I'll keep them here on the Facebook page as well, but they'll only be the edited versions. I'll remove the lives. But every day except for Wednesday, no Wednesday shows. And that's it, everybody. Thank you and good morning.